Hey y'all, so today I want to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart as somebody who has always had texture, either from acne or just aging or enlarged pores. Things a lot of us all have, unless you have perfect skin. In that case, why are you here? For the rest of us, we could use a little bit of help to minimize that texture. So today I am going to go over all of my favorite products that I have been using for a very long time, from sunscreens to primers to foundations, mostly skin products because that is where our texture is, to minimize all of that texture that some of us might have. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Now let's start in the obvious place, which is primers. We could go into skincare, but I think that's a whole other video. If you really want the smoothest skin, you're going to be wanting your lactic acids, your glycolic acids. You're going to want to be continually resurfacing and refining your pores, and getting something like salicylic acid is going to shrink your pores and make your texture look less obvious. But that's a whole other thing. Let's deal today with all of the texture that you still have, because even if you're doing all of those things, you're getting lasers, you're doing all the things, you're still probably going to have some texture, at least if you're me, because I have done all the things and I still have texture. So let's deal with this as a like where we are starting from kind of situation, which is most of us. Okay, so one of my first favorite new primers that I have found that is very, very pore blurring and filling is this Kiko Milano. It's the Skin Trainer CC Blur. I found this on Amazon and it is a little bit colored. It's very moussey to the point where it tries to fall off of your, whenever you squeeze it out, it tries to hit the floor, go anywhere else, roll off your hand. It really holds its own shape. And so for that reason, once you get a hold of it and you pat it into your pores, it is great for creating like this very poreless, blurred, smooth, matte sort of base to work on, which I really, really appreciate. I don't find that it pills or balls with anything else I am using. For reference, usually I have a sunscreen on. Usually I also have used a vitamin C serum in the morning, maybe a moisturizer depending on how my skin is that day. And sometimes I use the sunscreen as my moisturizer. And then I'm also usually using some other sort of peptide serum in the mornings. So I have all that underneath all of these products I'm going to talk about today, and I don't have balling, pilling, separating, any kind of problems. So these are all the ones that I've tested, and they are my tried and trues, regardless of everything you put on underneath them. If you don't put anything underneath them, they work just as well. So either way, these should be pretty safe. Okay, that was my little disclaimer there. All right, so back to this one. This one is probably my heaviest weight pore blurring one. I know like Tati uses the Tarte one. That is her ride or die. I have used that one. I can't get that one to work for me. It is too pasty. It does ball and pill on me with everything that I use. I find that it separates. I can't really get a hold of it. You see it on your face. That one absolutely does not work for me. These ones are just a little softer, a little more fluid. This one's not fluid. It's just super soft, and it leaves you with like a powder finish. These ones are going to be a lot easier to work with, I think, than like your traditional Tarte pore fillers. This one, I mean, it's a great deal. It is sort of skin colored for if you're, very fair. I don't think that it leaves enough color for it to matter whether you have dark skin or light skin by the time it sort of gets in there. It's just not stark white. So I think that's probably a better place to start for most people. This I absolutely love if you want everything to look really nice and matte. These are all silicone kind of ones, so if you don't like silicone, you may not like a lot of these primers. I have one that's not, but these are definitely going to be sort of silicone primers. That's how you get that pore filling. That's how you're going to get that smooth base. But these are silicone ones that actually play nicely with everything else, right? Okay, so absolutely love this one. Reach for this a lot, especially on my worst days when I have like little cracks and crevices here and stuff. It just disappears them, which is amazing. So highly recommend you try this one if that's what you're looking for. Okay, the number 7 Airbrush Away Primer. This one I have used forever. It is a little bit thinner and drier, dries to more of a little bit of a powdery consistency. A lot of these do. They sort of dry to a little bit of a powder finish, which is nice. It doesn't stay greasy, and it allows everything else to go on top of it. This one is great for spot priming when you just want to do the little areas where, you know, you've obviously where I've got a little bit bigger pores, a little more texture, but you want something a little lighter, a little less filling than this one. This is great, and you can get this on Amazon. You can get it at the drugstore. It's been around for a long time, and up until I discovered some of these other ones, this was always my go-to, and it's still really, really good. It's a little bit thinner, and sometimes, like lately, I have a lot of texture. That's why I'm doing this video, is because I'm like, problems right now. This one is maybe not as heavy duty as this one, and so I'm reaching for it a little bit less right now, but in the past, this has always been a great go-to. Definitely worth checking out. And this one is the Joa Blurring Matte Primer. I would say it's right in between the last two. It is thicker and a little more putty-like, but it's still liquid. But I mean, you really got to push it to get out of here, but it holds together better than this one. And I have to say, this one is my sort of go-to. I reach for this for like sort of everyday priming in the T-zone. You could put it all over your face, but it's hard to get it out of here. It's really best for just making sure that T-zone is starting at a nice smooth kind of point. And it is sort of in between the two as far as how heavy it is on your face. None of these are really that heavy on your face. This is definitely the heaviest. I mean, but if you need serious, like, you know, we need everything blurred out, that one will do. But if you don't want something quite that heavy on your face, or you're worried about it clogging your pores, so far none of these have clogged my pores that I am aware of. And I definitely have acne prone skin. I'm doing HRT right now, and I'm definitely struggling. I have big cystic ones, and it's just related to me still trying to find out what levels of estradiol I'm supposed to be on. And sometimes my levels go too high, and then I get a little friend that hangs out with me for a week. So I'm doing a lot of blurring, and I am doing a lot of covering up, and I have not found that any of these make it worse. I'm not having other things crop up. They're really just those hormonal ones that show up around the chin, where I'm not even really using the primers that much. So at any rate, I have never noticed that any of these do break you out. But like this one, also can find it on Amazon. Also a little bit skin colored, so it's not going to leave like a white cast or anything like that. And also reasonably priced. Definitely worth checking out. They do have a little more hydrating ones that leave you a little less matte, but you are still getting the good blurring effect. And I really like these when I'm dry, because when I'm dry, I still have texture. In fact, sometimes the texture is worse, right? So these are the ones that I reach for when I am low estrogen and my skin is dry and I still have lumps, bumps, and now my wrinkles look even worse, but I need a little bit of hydrating. Okay, so these are the ones that I reach for during that time. This one I'm almost out of. I need to go pick up another one of them. This is the Ulta Soft Blur Face Primer. This is really, really good. I absolutely love this. Now, of course, these again are silicone, but they're like a very, very fluid kind of silicone. It feels like it might have the tiniest bit of an oil base to give you a little bit of moisture. Again, not causing acne kind of oil, just a little bit hydrating, really sort of disappears into your skin, but leaves you with sort of this soft, this one's not a totally powdery finish. It does leave you with just the tiniest bit of glow, but a beautiful one. Love this. I mean, I've used this whole bottle, so it's one of my normal ones that I like to reach for. Love this one. Will be getting more of it. It is a great, just like if you're dry skin, middle of the road, everyday kind of primer that plays well with your sunscreens and everything else. Now this one's a little more expensive, and I really like the Dermatology brand, so I wanted to try their #1 primer. And this one is even more hydrating. This one will leave you with just a little bit of a, even though it goes on very much in that same way with that silicone finish, it leaves you, it's got a little more body, and it leaves you with a very, very soft sort of satin finish. This is great if you have dry skin and texture. This one's a little more expensive. I think the Ulta is just about as good, and in fact I reach for the Ulta a little bit more because I am oily more frequently than I am severely dry. But if you are really dry and you have that texture, this one is probably the #1 pick for that, because it really, Dermatology is really good with all of their ingredients. I mean, they're predominantly a skincare brand, so they really do that part of it right. So if you are very, very dry, this one I think is probably the one I would pick. Now this one's newer to the market. I haven't used it a ton, but this is the CoverGirl Skin Enhancer Velvet Blur. And they've been doing a great job lately with a lot of their new sort of skin products. We'll get to it later, but their foundation, one of their foundations, is now my top pick. I wear it almost every day, and it's blurring. So I have to say, this is really good. I don't usually go to, the drugstore for my primers, just because it's, I want something that's really sort of elevated and it's going to deal well with skin problems. I have to say, this one is very similar to both of these. It leaves you feeling a little bit moisturized. It is definitely a satin finish. It's not pure matte, and it is smoothing and blurring, but like just not like matte blurring. It is just really, really nice and smooth and good, and it's drugstore. So I have to say, if you had to choose from all of these and you were normal to dry, I would pick dry, this one, and then normal to dry, these, oily, these. So oily, probably maybe this one, but in a pinch I think both of these would work. They're so similar, honestly. Now for oily skin, I have a couple of picks. This is an oldie but a goodie. This is the Milk Makeup one. This one is actually really nice. It goes on, it's definitely a little thicker, and it dries to a much more powdery finish. But Milk Makeup also does, they have really nice skin products. Their powder is one of my favorites, and I don't like everything that they do, but they do, they are known for their primers, and I have to say that their Blur, the black primer, is just, it's solidly good. And I know a lot of people like, say, the Cali Ray one. That one sat on top of my skin. You could see it. It pilled, and I'm pretty sure it did actually break me out when I used it. So a lot of people love that as like, oh, that's the best one. I don't like that one. Just straight up, I do not. And so I think this is a better alternative to that one, especially if you have a little bit more problematic skin. If you have oily skin and texture, I think it's probably it's just a more solid, like it does not leave you with a satin finish. It definitely leaves you a little more powdery, a little drier, which when you have oily skin, that's what you want. You're like, soak up some oils for me, please. So that's the one that I really like for that. And finally, if you are the oiliest of the oily, or you're just having a lot of acne and issues in that, especially in that T-zone, this was one that Nikki LaRose swears by for her, oily skin clients. And so I gave it a try, and yes, I absolutely love this. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Control Mattifying Primer. I'm actually wearing this today because I have been having some issues. I just have it in my T-zone. This one is kind of yellowish green. It kind of looks scary, but it doesn't leave that color on your face. And this one, it does have a little bit of a silicone feel to it, but this one sort of dries down to a nice, like, almost like, I don't know if it has salicylic acid in it or not, but it feels like it has something like that where it sucks the pores in, it sucks everything down dry. I wouldn't use this with dry skin. If you're one of those people where your makeup is like breaking up within an hour because your oils are already poking through, something like this underneath I think works really, really well. I know a lot of people swear by this one, and I'm still testing this out. I'm neither here nor there with this one. It does not give you an immediate blurring, which is what I'm always looking for. I want a nice smooth base to work on, and I haven't noticed that it was able to help me keep my makeup on longer, but I do have a very challenging T-zone. So I'm gonna keep testing this one, but if you were wondering about this, because everybody's kind of talking about this right now and really pushing it, I'm still testing it, and it's not one that I'm gonna say is great for blurring or for lengthening your makeup just yet, but I haven't really given this a good test. So in case you're wondering about that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, now let's move on to sunscreen, because sometimes that is what I use as my primer and moisturizer. Just depends on the day. If I'm feeling like I don't want to have a lot of heavy stuff on my face, but I do need some smoothing, a lot of times these are the sunscreens that I actually will reach for. Okay, so if I'm feeling oily and I need to be mattified and I want it to look almost like foundation itself, but I usually need a little more coverage, I absolutely love and have loved for years, especially for pale folks, the Paula's Choice Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense. And this is broad spectrum SPF 30. This is gorgeous. This does leave you with a mattified finish, and I cannot say enough good things about it. It doesn't have a bad sunscreen smell. It leaves you nice and matte. It does smooth out your pores a bit. I would not wear this if you were ultra dry, because it does have a sort of matte finish, and that may not be what you're looking for. It is supposedly a moisturizer, so it's not too drying, but it is a little more on the drying side. This is absolutely what I will reach for on my oiliest days, where I just don't have a lot of time. I'm not going to do a lot of skincare, but I need to get my sunscreen in and I need a good base. This one is just tried and true. This is a brand new bottle because I have bought this so many times, and I just, you know, even with all of the options out there, this is the one that I have just kept repurchasing. So highly recommend you check this out. If you are just looking for ultra smoothing, this is sort of luxury. As you can see, I've used almost all of it, and I will probably repurchase this, but this Kopari sunscreen is really beautiful. It has the same texture as pretty much all of the primers that I have just shown you. So it is definitely like a squishy and very smoothing, very silicone-y, blurring, and a little bit moisturizing finish. This is beautiful. This is one of the ones where if I'm dry and I just need a smooth base and I'm in a hurry, I will use this as my base because it sort of moisturizes, it smooths over everything. I will still need makeup over this. It doesn't have any coverage, but it just leaves me with a beautiful base to start from, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I really love this. This is probably one of my #1 favorite smoothing primer sunscreens. Obviously, I've used most of it. I even do prefer this over the Unseen sunscreen. I think it does just a slightly better job, but I could be imagining it. Speaking of, this is an oldie but a goodie, and Trader Joe's has a dupe for this that is cheaper, but it's kind of hard to find. A lot of times it's out of stock. This one, the Unseen sunscreen, just their SPF 40, this one is clear. It is great. A lot of times if I'm going on vacation and I just don't want to worry about something, you know, working with my makeup or anything like that, I will just grab, I have like a little to-go version of this. This is my standard one that I will bring on vacation because I know it's going to protect my skin. It always does a good job, even in Texas heat and sun. It plays really well. It is just a solid one that works kind of with everything, and it has no color. So, I mean, it's just a really great base for makeup, and it does pretty much all the smoothing you're going to need to do. So I don't have to bring all of my other smoothing products, especially when I'm traveling and I don't want to have a bunch of extra stuff with me. This is like the all-in-one. I've got my sunscreen, I've got my smoothing, I've got my priming. I'm good to go. So it's a standard, it's a classic for a reason. It's good. I mean, ever since, I think these guys were the first ones to come out with that sort of like gel silicone clear version of a sunscreen. And it's solid, especially for those of us who are super oily, very textured. This even works for dry skin. I think it's just it's a really nice sort of smoothing sunscreen. Okay, and finally, this is one of my favorite products ever. For some reason, everybody thought that they were discontinuing this. It appears now that they are not discontinuing this. Maybe they were, and everybody freaked out and they were like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that. Forever, you could not find the fair version. This fair is perfect. This is the Tarte BB Blur, and it also has SPF 30 in it. This one is my all-in-one if I don't have time to do a foundation. This will do. It is fantastic. The color is perfect. Their fair is a nice light fair. It is smushy. It is blurring. It covers multitude of sins, and I mean, because see, look at how much coverage it's got over the hand, and it doesn't pile up, pill, ball, anything. It is absolutely beautiful. It looks like velvet on the skin. This is one of my favorite products that I've used for years and years. I'm always testing other things, but if I am having a day where I don't have time to do, you know, full makeup, but I need my sunscreen, but I need some coverage, this is my go-to. I will grab it. It blurs, it smooths, it covers up. It's actually got really good coverage. This covers so much on its own. So, and they have a ton of shades. It is my go-to. Like, if you had to pick anything from here that you need to have in your arsenal, if you are somebody with a lot of texture, this one. I absolutely, if you don't mind having SPF in it, this is probably the #1 product. I was so sad I bought a bunch of them when I thought that they were discontinuing, but thankfully they don't appear to be, because I can find them now in my stores everywhere. So out of this whole video, check this one out. I'm not going to do a ton of foundations, but I do want to mention a few foundations that I think work really well, and they are my go-to. I am having a bad skin day. I need some smoothing, blurring. I'm still using a blurring primer underneath it, but I want to reinforce more blurring and just have a very, very smooth finish and nothing shiny, nothing that is going to disrupt my nice base. These are the ones that I reach for. You all know that I'm going to be talking about this if you watch my videos. This is my absolute favorite. This is the CoverGirl Blurring Skin Tint. It does have SPF 30 in it, but you would have to put a ton on your face to get the amount of SPF you need. So I don't just use this as my SPF unless it's a very gray day. And then, I mean, here in Seattle, we get very, very dark during the winter, so where we don't get hardly any sun exposure, which is not great for you either. But, you know, in those cases, maybe I don't need all of the extra SPF. I do tend to sort of back off of my SPF during the winter here, because there's just, I know that some amount of sun is getting through, but it's so weak. I can't imagine that I need all of that. Anyway, so this one, regardless, I just like the finish of this. I don't care whether it has SPF or not in it. It is just so smoothing, so much coverage. It has this beautiful finish on it that doesn't ball or pill or look terrible or junk up. It wears really well. I mean, I think it would be good for all the skin types. If you're a drier skin type, you're probably not going to reach for something like this. You're probably going to want a more hydrating kind of thing. But honestly, I still feel like this is not drying. It is just not all shiny, not all moisturizing and stuff like that. It's just a really nice kind of silicone-y finish, very thin but buildable sort of foundation. I love this. I have my best skin days when I wear this. So now this one's sort of new to me, even though it's older. This is the Rimmel Stay Matte. This has a similar but heavier sort of finish. If you really want matte, like, and lots of coverage, this one definitely works that way. It's like $4. You can still find these on Amazon. I don't know if they're being discontinued or not, but it is something that is similar and even cheaper than the CoverGirl. If you are looking for heavy, heavy coverage and you want like a super matte face, without it being too drying. This is, again, it's got that marshmallowy, silicone-y kind of texture to it. So it doesn't dry you out, but it still gives you a very matte and very heavy kind of coverage. So this one sometimes I use as like spots for like troubled areas. And I mean, this definitely has its uses too. It's not my first choice, but it is definitely blurring, mattifying, and it's kind of like a nice little secret weapon for like $4 to have if you need a little bit of extra. Say you've got a lot of hyperpigmentation in one area, you can use this to really kind of take care of that, but you can also use it all over your whole face. I just find that it's a little masky looking because it is such heavy coverage. So, you know, buyer beware on that, but it is blurring and mattifying. Okay, this one is Dior, and this is expensive, but if you are looking for velvety blurred skin, this foundation is so beautiful. And I am not a fan of stick foundations, but this one, it is so pretty. A lot of times I will film with this because it's got great coverage and it's not drying, and yet it just leaves you with this ultra smooth velvety finish. Absolutely beautiful. Works good with your fingers, works well with a brush. I mean, if you haven't tried this, like, go try it in store on your hand and you will be sold. It feels so velvety and so beautiful. So this is high end. It is actually what I am wearing today, but it's worth it, and it really does do all that blurring that you might be interested in. Now, next thing that you can use to blur, to set everything down, is powder, obviously. And I do have my favorite blurring powders. It used to be the Givenchy, and they changed the formula, and it is no longer them because it is now glowy. And it is not what I'm looking for when I am trying to blur. Glowy is going to pick up texture, and there's just, even though I love glowy, there's just no way around it, unfortunately. So here are my favorite picks. I'm actually going to start with one that is also a foundation. So this is the Natasha Denona. I have bought so many of these. I freaking love these. This is one of the most velvety, blurring, smoothing powders I have ever had. I use this to cover up big giant sets. I use it as a final, like if I feel like I'm seeing sweat and texture and things like that, I will use this to just like blur everything down. If my skin is too white, if the foundation that I'm using is too light, this one is R2. This will bring it down a little bit without making me orange or brown. It brings me back to a more alive color for me. I love this. This is one of my number one purchases. Like if I were to say powders you must have, this is one of them. It's expensive. The refills are a little less expensive and they do last for a while, but I definitely go through it. It's my favorite powder foundation. If you want something blurring and smoothing, this is just my absolute favorite. It is so gorgeous. And she is coming out with a new foundation at the end of this week, and I cannot wait. I have been waiting for like 2 years, ever since she came out with her lovely concealer. I have been waiting for the foundation version of it. I cannot wait. So excited. So all of these are in that same line, and she just nails it with the skin. Oh, it's so beautiful. I mean, she herself is probably even a little bit older than me. I'm 50, and she knows how to make, you know, older women look gorgeous. And this one is amazing. Since Givenchy took away my favorite powder, I found the closest dupe for it, I think, is the Makeup by Mario Fair Pink. The Surreal Skin Soft Blur, and I get mine in one Fair Pink. Even that is just the tiniest bit darker on me, but that's actually what I'm wearing today. It's gorgeous. It really is the most blurring and like with coverage and a little bit of color kind of powder that I have found since I no longer have my beloved Givenchy. But this one is really, really good, and it's talc free. So I don't know how they did that, but they did. That is my number one pick if you are looking for just an overall powder. He has lots of different colors of it, which is nice. But if you look like me, the lightest one actually does work really well for us. If you are looking for that finishing powder, the one that you put on after you've done your sprays, everything, and you still have just a little bit of something going on in here, I have two that I actually like. So the drugstore one is the L'Oreal Blurfection, and I get the pink one. It is pink on me though, so I can't overdo it, like which is fine because it's going to be right here, which just sort of goes with whatever else I have in my cheeks. But I don't put this over my whole face because it is a little bit pink because I'm so fair. So, and their other one is yellow. And so they don't have just like a nice like porcelain color in this. If they did, I would put this all over my face. But we're talking about sort of your like little finishing powders. So at any rate, this one, a lot of people talk about it. I originally said I didn't like it. I don't know why. I retried it. I love it. It's actually great. This one is affordable and I think does give you a really, really good blurring effect. Sephora just came out with their version of it, Blur It in pink. It is very pink and it is close to as good, but I would say the L'Oreal is a little bit better. So I'm still trying this one out, but I'm not like mega impressed. Same thing, I am still trying out the new Fenty, their pink brightening powder. It's okay. I am not a huge fan so far. I have tried most of the Fenty powders and there's just not that many that are for me. I just not that impressed, not for the price. Okay, but the other one that I am impressed by, and this is another one that Nikki Rose said was great, and I totally agree. This is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD powder, and this one is totally clear and is just so incredibly fine. It is perfect for getting rid of any little tiny bit. I'm sweating. I'm under like heavy lights and it is freaking hot here today. And yeah, it just disappears your pores. It's not something because it's clear that I would put over my whole face, because then it would probably darken, I think, anything I had going on. It would probably darken my foundation. The clear ones will do that. But I love this as my last little finish thing. And the bonus to that is it gives you that perfection. This thing will last me all year, if not longer, because you just don't need that much of it. So there's that. And finally, one of the most important places to blur is under your eyes. I absolutely love this new, I'm using it, I use it all over my face too. The new Laura Mercier one. I got, well actually they only make this in the small because it's really meant to be under your eyes. This is the pink one. I'll put it up. I can't remember what the name of it is, but these are the colored ones that are specifically supposed to be like under eye correctors. So smoothing, so blurring, and I do not like Laura Mercier. I have like all of her powders. They're all too heavy on me, too yellow, too like, don't like any of them. Even the new rose one, don't really like it. Not using it, it's already in the bin, it's shelved. This one is perfect. They need to make like buckets and buckets of this so that I can start putting this over my whole face, but it is amazing under the eyes. This is my, like, Pat McGrath was my favorite blurring for the longest time. I still love this. This is still great, but the color is white, and the pink one you can't even find anymore. It does look kind of white under your eyes. This pink version that she has is the perfect light pink, and that's exactly what I need on my eyes. It is perfection. I love this. So if you wanted to check out something for your under eyes, this is my number one. Like, this one is worth it. Totally go check this out. Now, one of the things I forgot to talk about, and I'm not really sure where to put it, so it's just going to be in its own little section, is this Essence, the 16-hour cover and last. Obviously that does not match my skin, but you know what it is? It is an absolutely beautiful bronzer slash contour. This is very blurring and very light, very like natural looking, absolutely blurry, gorgeous. And especially if you have a lot of texture, say you have a lot of acne on your cheeks or something like that, this is going to smooth that out. A lot of bronzers are cream or they're sparkly, or you know, they're going to pick up texture, they're going to make it worse, they're going to destroy any of the base that you put on underneath, all your powders and primers to get everything smooth and mattified out. This won't do any of that. So if you are looking for a good light, or even if you were looking for a darker color of this, this formula is ultra powdery and smooth and velvety, and it's like $6, and they have a lot of colors available. Ulta carries these in most of the colors. You can also find them at, I think, like CVS and places that carry Essence. Go, this is the right color for me. At being as fair as I am, it's even cool toned, which is amazing. Go check these out. If this one's not quite the right color for you and you are looking for a nice blurring, not making it look worse, not, you know, taking off the makeup that you already put on kind of bronzer or contour, this one. This is amazing. I use this every single day now. I love it. I love my sparkly ones because thankfully my cheeks right here is not really one of my problem areas, but if it gets down into here, then it is. So I really like that I don't have to worry about like a stark line of demarcation with this. It just sort of looks like the rest of my makeup. It looks like a shadow. Go, it's $6. Go try it. It's amazing. Okay. And lastly, let's talk about tools because the tools really matter. So these are my go-tos that really, really make a big difference. If you want absolute perfection, smooth, very, very airbrushed looking application of just about any foundation, I have two of these now. I got one in PR. I bought another one because I always wanted to have one that was clean. This is the Sigma F80. It is the best. I like the BK Beauty ones. I actually have those. I also got these in PR. They're very popular. This is their 101. This one is softer, and if you are looking for lighter coverage, this is beautiful. So this is another option. Their bristles are always a little bit softer. This one, for whatever reason, they got the kabuki just right. It is just the perfect density, and it just, I mean, just about anything goes on looking better with these brushes. This one I would invest in. They're not that expensive. I've had mine for a year or two, and they're holding up just fine. I wash them every so often. Probably not enough. And you can get these on Amazon. This is a secret weapon for any kind of smooth application. Absolutely love this. Nobody has talked about this, and this was an absolute like oopsie. It came with one of the Tarte concealers, and it is just, it's like a big concealer brush, and it doesn't look like anything special, and yet it is. This is another one where I got a free one from buying the Tarte concealer, and then I went and ordered off of Tarte's website because it's the only place you can get it, another one, because this is my favorite blurring concealer brush. I use this under my eyes. I use it to really pat out any areas that have, you know, concealer needs to like look really natural and, you know, really kind of squish it into those pores, but then blur out the edges. This one is just right. I have a ton of concealer brushes. I have all the kitten paw ones. I have all of the expensive ones that everybody touts. I don't like those. They're not right. They're too dense. They don't smooth out the edges. I love it where it's dense in the middle and then it's soft around the edges, and that is hard to find. I don't know why, but this is amazing. So this is my main concealer brush now. This goes everywhere with me. I do not leave without this. I would be lost without this because otherwise I have to use my fingers. I'm struggling. The brush is sort of like streaky, smeary. It's just not doing a good job of blending out the edges, but leaving the center nice and covered and like pouncing it in. This one. Check this out. You will not be sorry. Now I have two from Real Techniques. This one, I think you've probably seen a lot of people use. It comes with a bunch of other ones, and for whatever reason, I do not see the number on it. I will find the number and put it up. I don't know. I have a butt ton of these. This is another one of those ones where this is great for after you've put on your under eye makeup and you've really pushed it in. Maybe it's a little heavy still. You can use this to just sort of, once it's dried just a little bit, this is just perfect for that little bit. And even before I had this, I used this, and this worked pretty well under the eyes. This is so great for blending and it's dense in the center and fluffy on the edges, and you can sort of push in and then really use it to blend out and push in any of the makeup into those pores so that they just disappear. Love this one. And a lot of people ask me about this, if you are using cream blushes, this again comes, I think, in a kit, which is frustrating. I wish they sold this by itself. Dense in the center, fluffy on the edges, and this is the perfect cream blush because you push it in, but then those outside parts, you're not leaving a stark line, you're blending it into the rest of your makeup, and it does an amazing job at that. I have a ton of these as well. I bought the kits. I threw away a couple of the brushes that came with it because I can't figure out what I'm going to use them for, but it was worth it for this one because this is perfect for any kind of a cream blush. You could probably use it with a powder blush, but I wouldn't, that's really not its best use. This is really for the highlighters, like the cream highlighters and the cream blushes, and it's gorgeous. Finally, this is my Stands Out sponge. I actually do like these sponges. I use these all the time, mostly because my Stands Out sponge is dirty most of the time. So these, I have a little baggie of them. I really like this particular kind of sponge for my final, anything that's too wet, too shiny, needs to be pushed in. I will use it with my sprays as a final, I don't want to leave it wet looking, so I will go like this. This one, I don't apply the makeup with it. I use it to refine my makeup at the very end. And it just absolutely pushes everything, smooths it out, but doesn't take any makeup off really. It doesn't leave streaks or anything like that. I have two of these. I keep them on rotation as well. Risa does makeup. She actually was the one who introduced me to these, and this is one of my tools that I absolutely must have. If I don't have this, because sometimes I won't travel with it, I always make sure to bring one of these because they're not as nice, but they give you the same ability to blend and to, one of the ways I really like to use it is to take off excess. So sometimes in those areas, after I've built up all of the stuff, I'll look up close and I'll be like, okay, I've got a little too much buildup in these areas, and I just want to both pat and get rid of some of it so that it doesn't look so heavy in those areas. It looks more natural, but I don't want to have this line, right? I want it to sort of blend and blur out into the rest of my makeup. These work just fine too. So those are both I like to use them both, honestly. Got another big video. That was a lot, but this is everything that I do to get that perfect makeup look, the perfect skin. Not the skin that you see whenever I'm doing a foundation test, because I'm just trying to let the foundation do what it's doing. But if you see me in any of my other videos where my skin looks really blurred and perfected, that's not filters, that is using all of these techniques. I feel like it's unfair to use them whenever I'm testing a foundation, because maybe you don't have all of these things, and that's not really a test of the foundation. It is a test of all of those products that I use and all of the techniques that I use. So I thought I would share because these are the things that over the years have really made a big difference in how confident I am about my skin, even when it is not looking its best and it's not, it's just being a pain, which, it often is. I have always struggled with my skin. So I really want to be able to share these things because they can really help give you a little more confidence even when you're struggling with what's going on underneath. Okay, let me know if you have any questions or suggestions. Leave them below. We all like to read any kind of suggestions. I go and check out products all the time from the things that you guys recommend down below. So definitely do that if you have something that you just love and it's great and I didn't mention it. Okay, if you haven't subscribed and you like this kind of content, I would love it if you would give me a like and subscribe, as it really helps my channel to grow, and I really appreciate you guys being here. Okay, I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you in the next video.